So it's not like after awakening, I'm just like awake all the time, right? Not like constantly mindful, constantly, enlightened or whatever. But it's like several times throughout the day, uh, waking up. Um, like anytime there's an opportunity to really think about what's going on, the answer's just there. And then there's sort of a lower frequency oscillation where I still have my high points of feeling very much like there is no self and there is no time and there is only absolute peace. And then I still have times where there feels very much like there is a separate self. And this week, that for a little while, that happened, very intensely, the selfing. But now, when selfing or meing happens, um, there's just sort of at the same time, there's like an accepted knowledge of the fact that I know I won't be able to find the self if I look for it. I know I won't be able to find time if I look for it. I know I won't be able to find the one that any of this is a problem for. So then the selfing is just a thing that's happening. Um, there seems to be like I've been thinking of the self as like a practical reality. So there's like a spiritual reality, um, which is really, best described as nothing. Um, that's not even a good enough description, but and then there's a practical reality, which does have the separate self and all the things that are going on and the stories that are so important. And I've been thinking of it kind of like um, sunrise and sunset, right? That's a very practical concept, right? Um, Try to get up before the sun rises, go to bed slightly after the sun sets. But we know the sun doesn't really rise and the sun doesn't really set. We know that it's the rotation of the earth causing it to appear as if that's what's happening. But for all practical purposes, we just still go by the sunrise and the sunset. Um, so the self is very practical, and the I guess there's an attempt to find practicality in the spiritual side. There's an attempt to find practicality in enlightenment, in no self, in awakening. Right? How is the recognition, um, the enlightened recognition? How is that practical? Right? I guess it's a way of saying how is it valuable to the self, and that can be found to some degree um, from time to time. I mean, just a little bit less of a concern, an ability to see sort of beauty in everything in a way that I didn't otherwise. Um, this week, one of the things that has come up is, there's still these thought patterns about what I do and don't like, right? Those still happen. And when that's come up, especially when it's come up to the, what I don't like part, it's just like, how, who says I don't like it? That's the way it keeps phrasing in my head. Who says I don't like it? And what's really being asked is, what does that even mean, not to like it? Because I can't find the one who wouldn't like it, right? There's a thought I don't like it. There's a feeling that I associate with something that I guess I'm not supposed to like. Um, but it's very similar to earlier when I couldn't find the one who is not at peace with it. I can't find the one who doesn't like a thing. And earlier this week, that even led me to like, I had a headache the other day, um, and I didn't take anything for it, and it was just like, why would I? What's wrong with this headache? What's really problematic about it? And I was at work, and one of the things I decided was problematic about it is it might change the expression on my face. Other people might see something that they perceived as a problem. Um, and it reminded me, I, you know, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I also recently realized that there are no problems here. Any problem I can think of is really just a problem that I'm carrying for others. And I realized that the headache was the same thing. Like, the headache's not a problem. It makes me slow. It makes me frowny. It makes me less inclined to laugh at a joke. Um, Makes me, maybe less able to carry on a conversation. But who is that really a problem for, right? It's not really a problem for me. Um, though I do recognize it may be a problem for others. Um, and yeah, and then I've been really interested in like testing all the challenges. I've noticed before sometimes that when I've been through a challenging period and that challenge goes away, I kind of miss it. And that's happened this time, but for a different reason, for a very practical reason, which is that um, the practical self is recognizing the value in not seeing any of these things that could come up as being a problem, right? As in not having that association. And because if you don't see anything as a problem, then there are no problems.